Hey guys, I hope all is well. Welcome back to another Sunday live stream. How you guys doing today? Can you guys hear me good? Let me know if the chat if you guys can hear me. All right, that's good. We're going to give a second for some more people to join. I just saw YouTube send out the notification. So let's see if, let's wait for some people to join before we get into the topics. But today, what we're going to be talking about, obviously you see in the thumbnail, the Cash App situation. We're also going to be talking about Taylor Swift's recent performance. I saw a little clip of that on Instagram and we have to talk about that. It's just so much there. We also are going to be talking about the dark truth about Easter. I've seen a lot of you guys request I talk about this. So we're going to get into that as well today. And we're also going to be talking briefly about Daddy Yankee, the Latin star. He's been showing a lot of imagery and symbolism for a long time now, not even as of recent only, but for a very long time. We're going to be getting into all that soon. We're just going to give another minute or so to let the people join. How you guys doing today? Hope you guys are all doing well. All right, let's begin. The first thing we're going to be talking about is this Cash App incident. I've been seeing so many of you guys request that I look into this, and the situation is highly suspicious. And I 1000% think there's more to the story. Like for sure, like there has to be more to the story. For those of you who don't know, a couple days ago on April 4th, Bob Lee, one of the founders of the mobile payment app Cash App, was randomly attacked in downtown San Francisco. He ended up passing away. There's still no explanation what happened. There's a lot of rumors going on, but this has been the headlines all over the media. The Cash App was one of the biggest mobile payment apps in the country. I'm pretty sure most of you guys have used Cash App before. It's very popular. Since the incident happened, people have been left with a lot of answers. People have been left with a lot of questions with no answers, as no one knows what actually provoked the attack. It was a late night attack that doesn't seem to make any sense. The incident seems random with no current explanation at all. It's being reported that it appears Bob was walking back to his hotel room between the hours of 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. when the incident randomly happened. The actual attack was not caught on tape. That's strange because we know that there's cameras everywhere. That's kind of very strange. I always saw that as a suspicious incident. That's why I took my time to look into this situation before I spoke about it. And that was one of the things that stuck out to me. What there is tape, there is current footage of like the aftermath showing Bob stumbling on the ground after the attack happened, but that's about it. There's not really much of an explanation from that tape alone. According to his family, he wasn't known to have any enemies and he was a well-liked guy. This online has sparked a lot of controversy as people feel that Bob Lee was obviously targeted. And in my opinion, it very does seem like it's a possibility. None of what's being reported makes any sense at all. What provokes someone to attack Bob on a Tuesday in the dead of night? On a Tuesday at 2 a.m., most of everything is closed, anyways. Just think about it. At 2 a.m., there's literally nothing open. And if it was a weekend, I can see it. He had an argument at a bar or he had an argument, somewhere in the situation, but it was just a random Tuesday at 2 a.m. And they're saying that he was on the same street walking back to his hotel room. That's another detail that seemed very suspicious. This happened at an upper class area in San Francisco as well. It wasn't a low down, a rundown place, which makes it even more unexpected if you think about it. Crimes like this don't tend to happen in San Francisco, the richer parts of it, in the richer parts of the area. It really doesn't tend to happen there. At 2 a.m. on a Tuesday night with no one around, that'd be the best time to actually get rid of someone. So if you think about it, that would be the best time to commit a crime where you don't want to be seen on a Tuesday night, Tuesday at 2 a.m. I believe who did this to Bob is definitely a professional and was hired to do so. He knew where the blind spots were. That's why there was no cameras that caught the incident. So he obviously scoped out the area, looked around, made sure that, the cameras weren't pointing at him when he was doing the crime, which automatically is a huge red flag and automatically lets you know that this was not something random. If it was random, it would have happened most likely inside of a camera or, where witnesses were. But this does not seem random at all. I'm pretty sure most of us would agree that Bob was definitely targeted. Now, the question is why? Why did they target him? In my opinion, after researching this, it appears that it might be in the best interest of some very powerful people if Bob Lee wasn't around anymore. Some very powerful people who run the thing, who run the certain business, who I don't want to say exactly, I can't call out any names, but certain people that have control over and regulate certain, this certain business venture that he was a part of. Before Bob's pass, he was working on a cryptocurrency payment app called Mobile Coin. Mobile Coin was supposed to be like Cash App for crypto, letting people make untraceable crypto payments between each other. The whole idea of the app was to provide a place where people can make peer-to-peer payment anonymously, which some people, didn't like. Some people in power don't want people to be able to make these peer-to-peer payments untraceable because they like to be able to see every single thing that we're doing and they want to know everything that we're purchasing. That's pretty much obvious. I'm pretty sure a lot of us already know this. A lot of people think this has something to do with it, but also people think that it's somehow connected to him being, the founder of Cash App and they targeted him because he was the founder of Cash App. That is not true. That right there, I want to debunk real quick. Some people think that because of the government releasing their own kind of Cash App, that they came after Bob Lee. The problem with this theory is that Bob Lee really didn't work with Cash App anymore. He was one of the founders, but he had moved on. And like I said, he was working for a new company, Mobile Coin, and he wasn't a part of the Cash App team anymore. So there was nothing to do with Cash App in that situation. So the people that are actually saying that it was somehow connected to Cash App, I don't think that was the case. What I think happened is something completely different. He was working on Mobile Coin. Mobile Coin, like I already said, it was this product that allowed people to send money anonymously using crypto, like basically Cash App for cryptocurrency. So, like if you want to send money or pay somebody, you can do it anonymously, which Bitcoin isn't really anonymous. There's aspects of Bitcoin that is anonymous, but it's not fully anonymous. Now, Bob Lee, with this new company, he was creating a fully anonymous currency. He was finding a way to make it possible to send money or make payments without being traced. Now, a lot of people online feel that this is connected with the fact that this new government Cash App system, like we can call it that, to not say any names, is trying to replace that and not wanting that to exist because it's like a direct competition. Bob Lee is trying his best to make this currency available to the common people and make it possible for people to not be traced while they're purchasing and stuff like that. So that goes directly against what was already going on. Not what was going on, but what they were trying to implement. Now, I'm not gonna point any fingers because we can't do that. But let's be honest, guys. He was walking at 2 a.m. in the morning. He has no enemies. There's nothing going on a Tuesday in a good neighborhood. A random attack like this it just doesn't happen. That's not something that we can say happens normally. That doesn't happen unless he provokes someone. Like I said, if this happened on a Saturday, he was at a club or he was enjoying somewhere. He got into an altercation with somebody. It makes sense there that he gets attacked or whatever. But the thing is, for it to be a 2 a.m. and him to be walking alone, not messing with nobody, not talking to nobody, how it appears, you could tell that it was a targeted situation. Somebody had something against him. Somebody wanted him gone. Now, the people that we were just talking about, of course, they have the power to do it. We're not going to say they don't, but we're not going to point any fingers either. You know, I would say that what happened to him 1000% is a targeted situation. I am confident in that. And I'm pretty sure most of you would agree. How many of you, let me see how many of you in the chat would agree with me that it appears to be 1000% a targeted situation. Now, if it has anything to do with what what I just said, what they got going on, we can't say. But they can't tell us that this was just a random attack because I'm not buying that. And this is not just a random guy either. This is one of the a man that if he would have been targeted, this would be the perfect time to get to go after him. It's a very sad situation, and honestly, it lets you know that the people that run our world, the people that run things, they get what they want at whatever means. You understand? They don't. There is no if ands or buts. There is no I can't get what I want. It's you give them what they want or they take it by force. And that's what we're seeing here. I honestly feel like it does not have nothing to do with Cash App, but it can definitely have something to do with mobile coin. The mobile coin platform, it's the competition to what the government made themselves. You understand? It's literally a direct competition. And this guy could have potentially been standing in front of their plans to roll this out without any trouble. You understand? So, in my opinion, it 100% appears like Bob was walking home. They saw the perfect time. They were probably stalking him for a good amount of time. They saw that this is that was the exact route he was going to take back home. They probably went, looked out the route, seen where angle, what spot can they get him where there's no cameras pointed, and that's exactly what they did. That's why there's only footage of him stumbling and falling after the incident when he walks into another camera frame. Do you know how perfectly planned that had to be? That right there, it's not random. That's not something that happens by chance. I want to see what you guys are saying. I want to see. I'm looking through the chat now. Let's see. Let's see. Somebody named Max said what happened to him was normal. If you call people just randomly getting attacked in the middle of night for no reason normal, he wasn't robbed. They didn't take anything from him. He still had his phone in his hand. So if it was a random attack, I would expect them to have done it for a reason. If it was a robbery or a purpose for it, like you tell me, how many times do you see people just randomly do this to other people? If that people that they don't even know. And we're not talking about a random street. We're not talking about a random neighborhood. This is upper class. This is where crimes like this don't happen. This is exactly what I'm trying to explain. So when people say that this is normal, I don't see it. Maybe you should open your eyes a bit more. Well, let's move on. The next thing I wanted to actually talk about was Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift is currently one of the biggest artists in the world. Taco, roll the Taylor Swift clip, please. Sorry. Taylor Swift, Taylor Swift is currently one of the biggest artists in the world. So it's not surprising to me that just like the other big celebrities, we can see open occult imagery coming from Taylor Swift. I recently saw a recording of one of Taylor Swift's performances that quickly got my attention. This performance, just like we've been seeing from many previous performances, appears to be a public ritual for the fans to participate in. The performance starts with the whole arena turning pitch black as Taylor walks out what appears to be with a coven of witches. She literally, if you can see, she literally has a coven of witches behind her. And she appears to be one of the witches because she's wearing a cloak with them. Taylor starts performing her 2020 song Willow, and then you see the flames in the back just start to rise. The witches then begin to follow Taylor as they walk to the center of the stage, and you see all the flames underneath them. Then they appear to walk to the center of the stage, closer to the fans, and begin to ritually chant while circling Taylor. This is one of the most obvious instances of ritual magic that I've seen in a long time. Like, we saw the Grammys incident, but the Grammys incident, they weren't really showing witchcraft. They were just showing Satanism and what appeared to be a ritual. But in this performance, she's not even trying to sugarcoat it or hide it. She's presenting herself as a witch. She's literally presenting herself as a witch. She's casting a spell on her audience, and they all seem to be cheering happily. For the rest of the performance, they all move in sync while they're making this circle around Taylor, and they're raising the orb, these magical orbs that they're holding, up and down, up and down. What does that represent? And another thing, it has literally nothing to do with the song at all. It has zero to do with the song. Just look at this imagery that they're presenting. If you listen to this actual clip, the one that I'm using, the child in it, I'll link the clip into the live stream in a bit. The child in the video actually tells her mom that she's scared. When this happens, because the mother that's recording this, her daughter says, "I'm scared, mom." What child is expecting this at a Taylor Swift performance? This is literally, it doesn't make any sense. And we're not in Halloween. This is a 3-week-old performance. It's not like it happened in October. This doesn't make any sense, but like we're going to be getting into, Easter is a very big pagan thing. So it makes perfect sense that this is happening around this time, because everything that they do is ritually based. It's not something that just happens by random and chance. It's something that it's routinely done every year. There's a reason why, if you look at it, Taylor Swift is literally one of the biggest artists. She's like Drake, she's like Bad Bunny, she's up there. She's one of those artists. She could be seen doing the one-eye symbolism. She took the oath like the rest of the artists. And a lot of people on this channel sometimes comment that I don't cover all the artists. Maybe you guys don't really watch the channel often, because I've covered pop artists, rap artists, rock artists. I've said that we can find the imagery within all of these artists. It's all over the industry. It doesn't matter what genre. Like, we're going to be talking about in a little bit, we're going to be talking about Daddy Yankee, and that's the Latin industry, and it's full in the Latin industry as well. You know, they will not let a person like Taylor Swift make it to the level she made it if she wasn't a part of the system. She would not be at that level. And if I'm not mistaken, isn't she supposed to be one of the artists that was a Christian or a gospel artist before she even got into this type of industry, if I'm not mistaken? Am I right, chat? If I'm not mistaken, she was one of the artists that was a Christian artist, because they love to do this. They love to corrupt the Christian artists, the artists that were made for God. They love to corrupt the artists. You know, it's strange though. It's strange that all these fans are there and they just look at, like, I understand. I understand that they have this love for her, but you have to question, what does any of this have to do with the song, and why give us this type of energy? Why this type of feel? What's the purpose behind it? And I'm gonna tell you the purpose. They're casting spells. This music, Triple X Tentacion said it best. He said that music have frequencies, and these frequencies were able to target certain parts of the brain. Every time they're doing these rituals and they're performing and they're singing and all this is going on, they're spreading they're spreading frequencies, they're sending frequencies out that's targeting specific parts of the brain, causing the audience to be put in a trance. That's exactly what they're doing. They're showing you the imagery to match what the music is. Because remember, in Masonry, everything is a mock ritual, everything is a ceremonial ritual that has an underlying spiritual meaning behind it. It's not what's really done in the physical realm, but it's what's done underneath it in the spiritual realm, what their ritual, the effect that their ritual would have. This is exactly what this is. Yes, you're not seeing all the magic around, but the frequencies and everything behind what she's doing, it's what's hidden. She's basically mocking the audience, letting them know that she truly is the witch that's controlling them. This is what this symbolism represents. And it's not surprising that it's happening now. We've seen this entire year, they've been open since the very beginning, since February, because this is their year. This is their awakening year. This is the year they waited for. They had their restart in 2020, and now this is the new world that they're introducing. We saw how this entire year has already been full of this imagery. You know, we had performance back to back, huge performances with open rituals. Now, I actually want to move on and get into the Easter. 1 second, let me just take a sip of water real quick. For those that just got here, we already covered the Cash App situation. All you have to do is rewind the live stream to the beginning. If that's what you're here for, you can rewind it back to the beginning and you'll hear me talking about the Cash App. Now we're going to get into the Easter situation. Today is Easter, and many see Easter as a Christian holiday that celebrates the day Jesus Christ was resurrected. Many families around the world celebrate Easter today for the purpose of giving praise to Jesus. What if I told you the truth behind Easter has nothing to do with Christ? And sadly, so many people have been fooled. First, it's important to note that many Bible scholars do not believe Jesus was resurrected on Sunday, but instead on Saturday. So that's one very important piece of information that you need to hold on to. People have this misconception mainly because of the pagan festival Easter, that just like Christmas and Halloween, was intertwined with the story of God to manipulate God's people into participating in it. Around around mid 300 AD, Christianity was increasing in popularity in Rome after Christ's story was being spread around. In 312, the Emperor Constantine converted to Christianity, which I've spoken about before, and put an end to ongoing persecution of Christians, and then created the Roman Catholic Church in order to mix pagan tradition and rituals with Christianity. He slowly started to adopt existing pagan existing pagan rituals into Christian festivals. In 325 AD, the church, known as the Council of Nicaea, first decided that Easter celebration should fall on Sunday after the first full moon of the spring of equinox. And thus Easter Sunday was born, and symbols associated with nature's rebirth and renewal came to be associated with the rebirth and resurrection of Christ. The bunny and Easter eggs, the bunny and the Easter eggs, all of this is a pagan tradition, nothing that has to do with Christ. The entire festival is to honor the goddess Eastor, the goddess of spring and fertility. Fertility. The bunny is the symbol for the Estor. That's why we see it all over Eastern tradition. You see it when you go to, before even Easter begins, about 2-3 months before, you go to the store and you start to see all of the Easter displays everywhere. And this is because we already know America runs on a pagan system. You understand? The bunny and the Easter eggs, all of this is pagan traditions. Nothing has to do with Christ. The entire festival is to honor the goddess Eastor, the goddess of spring. So that's why you see bunnies, and that's why you see chocolate, and that's why you see all of this stuff that literally has nothing to do with the resurrection of Christ. The scholars say that Christ was resurrected on Sabbath, which is Saturday, not Sunday. A lot of people have been misconstrued to believe that it's Sunday because, like they did with Christmas and like they did with Halloween, they convinced the people that Easter was Christian. The same way they convinced the people to think that Samhain, which is Halloween, was another Christian thing. And they also convinced the people to believe that Christmas, which is rooted in many different pagan traditions, was something that was done for Christ. And like I already proved, Christ wasn't even born during Christmas or even in the winter. This is unfortunately the reality. A lot of us don't do research. A lot of us don't look into things. You know, we do what we're told, we do what we're shown, and we just go with the flow. And this is what's causing this misconception. This is what's causing people to just blindly worship a system that they have no idea about. They know nothing about. This is where this comes from. This is why we have people that blindly say that they live for Christ and then unfortunately don't have the knowledge to know that a lot of these festivals that they participate are pagan. And it's not necessarily their fault. You know, if we would go off of what we know, our parents teach us to celebrate Easter because they believe Easter is associated with Christ. And if we think about at least my parents, they didn't have the ability to search the internet or, you know, they could have gone to the library and gotten some books, but it wasn't really their priority. They were trying to survive and make ends meet. So they don't have that time to look into certain things and be able to discover what's the truth behind it. But when you start to see it, it starts to, the whole system, the whole world that we've given so much energy and power to, it starts to crumble in front of us because we start to realize that it's a pagan system. It doesn't go with what we worship or what we believe in. And that's why it's so corrupt. We see how corrupt our world has become. And it's because of the confusion that those have committed upon us. They've done this by doing this, by mixing pagan festivals and turning them into Christian holidays, by pushing the do what thou will mentality and having people believe it's freedom. God already gave us freedom, but he gave us morals for a reason. There's a reason we have morals. There's should not be moral freedom. There should be freedom, but not moral freedom, because that allows people to do things that are immoral to each other for their self-benefit. And this should have been a red flag from the beginning. When they market Easter to us, they don't market Easter to us really with anything that has to do with Christ. They just say it's, you know, a day of Christ, and they tell you to go to church and all this stuff because that's what they want. But if you just take the time, a short amount of time to look into it, you realize that they want you to do it because it's pagan, because it worships one of their fallen gods that is most likely a fallen angel that fell down with Lucifer. This is what America represents. It's the land of the free and accepted Masons. This is why it's so heavily pushed in our culture. You know, I'm not trying to make anybody feel bad that went to church today or that celebrates Easter. That's not my goal, because I'm pretty sure you're not celebrating Easter as a pagan thing. You're doing it because you thought that it was a Christian holiday. But now that you know, you have a choice to make. If you want to continue, that's no problem. This is not about judgment. This is about knowledge. You know the truth now. You're able to make that decision on your own. If you want to celebrate Easter, because I remember I did the Christmas video, and I saw a lot of people with a lot of pushback because Christmas is a holiday that they love. And I understand people love Christmas because of the presents, of, you know, the family, but it has nothing to do with Christ. It's a pagan tradition. It's a pagan festival. It's a pagan ritual. It has nothing to do with Christ. So when I acknowledged people and told people Christmas is about a pagan tradition, it's not to tell you don't celebrate Christmas or don't do what you want. It's for you to understand now. You're not celebrating Christmas because of Christ. It has nothing to do with Christ. It's a pagan tradition. It was converted in order to have the people think that it was something that had to do with Christianity so that people can do it openly and freely without having any resistance. And that's something that they always do. That's how they get us. They convince us to not resist. As long as we don't resist, they get what they want. Now, this is exactly what Easter is. Easter don't market Easter like they don't market Christmas to you. They don't market it to you with Christ. They market it with you with their pagan deities. The bunny represent the god Estor. That's what the bunny represented. That's why we see it everywhere. That's why instantly that's what comes to mind when you think of Easter. Religious people, they have been, you know, they got them by saying, yeah, it's about God and about Christianity and about Christ, but it has nothing to do with it. It's just to keep them satisfied and to keep them thinking that it's okay and even trick them into participating in it. So, like, you guys all know the truth now. You guys have the choice to follow Easter. And if you disagree, let me know now. I'll be reading the chat right now to see your opinion on why would you disagree with what I'm saying, because it's honestly fact. I'm not necessarily picking on Easter or picking on any of these holidays. When I was a kid, I celebrated Christmas. I never really celebrated Easter. You know, we probably would acknowledge the fact that Christ, I remember Good Friday, and because my mom was Catholic growing up. But Christmas and Halloween, those were holidays that I myself participated in. I didn't stop participating in them until I found out what they truly was, what they truly were. You know, if you some of you guys are still gonna celebrate Easter, I respect it. I have nothing against it, and I understand. It's like I said, it's traditions that unfortunately we've been tricked and manipulated to participate in, but nonetheless, has become a part of people's normal life. So now let's move on. Let's move on to the next topic. I actually wanted to talk about Daddy Yankee. Daddy Yankee is one of the biggest Latin artists in the world. You know, he was Bad Bunny before Bad Bunny. Taco, can you roll the Daddy Yankee clip, please? You know, a lot of people didn't realize before how open sometimes, you know, the imagery was back even in the early 2010s and the 2000s, because rappers like Daddy Yankee have actually been showing it the whole time. You just have to been if you haven't been paying attention, you weren't gonna catch it. Like if we see this video for his Descontrol video, it's full of pyramids, it's full of the all-seeing eye. You got literally moments where he has an eye behind the women dancing, like in different instances. The whole video is him inside of a pyramid. And this was a few years back. And it also shows a lot of this like futuristic, what I see as like metaverse looking imagery, which is very interesting because I believe that this was the imagery they were sending out. This was like representing the New World Order. And then also, as of recently, he's been on tour, touring around, and he's also dropped his, I think was his supposed to be his final album. And as you can see the imagery, it's an image of a goat. He literally put Baphomet on his cover. This is what he wanted to represent his final album as Baphomet. And it's funny because they've asked Daddy Yankee in the past if he was a part of the Illuminati. That's the famous question. And he, you know, denied it and all this because, like I've said, these people aren't a part of the Illuminati. They're Freemasons. This is all Freemason imagery. And it's undeniable because I just want people to realize the ones that are at the very top, you're always going to catch them with this imagery. The ones at the very top of the pyramid, they're always going to show us. They're never going to hide it that much. They're going to let us know that they took the oath. There's no need for them to deny it because most people are already so manipulated that they don't even question them. You know, they look at them as just artists and everything that is brought up against them as a conspiracy. But in reality, what else does this imagery tell you? This imagery literally shows you to your face that this is nothing but a Masonic puppet. And that's why he became literally the biggest artist before Bad Bunny that was Daddy Yankee. Hundreds of millions of dollars he's made. And they don't allow you to get to that level unless you took the oath. And that's why this last album, this Go album, represents that. I actually wanted to make more videos on Latin artists because it goes deeper with Daddy Yankee. Daddy Yankee is actually one of the creators, one of the first big reggaeton artists to blow up out of Puerto Rico. And he was connected to Alex Gargola, who I've spoken about before. Alex Gargola is an open Freemason. He has, if you go to his Instagram page on Instagram, he has pictures of himself posted admitting he's a Freemason. He has a Freemason lodge, like a picture of a Freemason lodge posted on there. He has pictures of himself with Scottish Rite Freemason attire on. He literally doesn't deny it. He does not deny it, not even in the minimum sense. He actually helped Daddy Yankee in the music industry and helped him basically build up his career. He was the one there at the beginning, and a lot of other artists as well, not just Daddy Yankee. So that connection is obvious. He wouldn't have helped Daddy Yankee unless Daddy Yankee was a Masonic puppet, just like him. So that's where we see the imagery. You know, if you guys would like me to actually get into the Latin industry and speak about Latin artists, let me know. I'll probably make some more content on there. I might even push it onto the second channel and you guys could watch it on there for those that are interested. You guys let me know below because there is so much in the Latin industry, but this is primarily a hip hop platform speaking on hip hop content because that's literally what is primarily running the industry right now. Latin industry is getting big, but here in the States, it does not have a big impact like hip hop does. We focus on hip hop because hip hop is what most people are consuming. Latin industry is only mostly Latin people that are consuming it. I was born in the Bronx myself, so the people that I grew up with weren't really listening to that much Latin music. It was a lot of hip hop, and I grew up listening to a lot of hip hop. And I saw the power of hip hop, but you can't deny that it's also in the Latin industry as well. You know, we focus on uncovering the truth about what's going on in the hip hop industry, but I think that we should definitely focus on the Latin industry as well. And we do, you know, Hollywood, and we've spoken about the truth about diamonds and the truth. We've definitely touched on a lot of topics, but definitely seem to focus a bit on hip hop because I believe hip hop has the biggest influence in the world right now. It's obvious that most people are consuming hip hop right now. Most people are being influenced by hip hop. So that's why we tend to focus on those that are showing the imagery and are manipulating the most people to a burning end within hip hop. And like we did earlier, we spoke about the Cash App situation. We speak about Easter. We've spoken about Christmas and Halloween because those are also things that we need to know as well. Before we move on, I actually want to ask you guys if there's any other artists that you guys want me to look into. For example, I've seen a lot of you guys ask me to look into South African artists and Afrobeat artists, which I definitely will. But is there any other artists that you guys are requesting that I look into? Because I definitely want to look into it. I see Kurt Cobain, Little Nas X. I've done videos on Little Nas X. I touched on Kurt Cobain. I haven't done Emily Choppa. Emily Choppa would be interesting. I see Lotto. I've seen a lot of you guys ask for Lotto. Wiz Khalifa. Wiz Khalifa is definitely possible. Melanie Martinez. Rod Wave. I don't really hear much of Rod Wave nowadays, so I don't really think that he took that next level. But if you guys have any imagery, definitely go post it on the Discord, and I'll check it out. See the Vito, battle rappers, Africa Babada. I've did a video on Africa Babada. Well, the next thing I wanted to talk about was 6ix9ine's comeback. You know, 6ix9ine is a very interesting situation. I want you guys to comprehend this. Like, I'm pretty sure you guys saw the whole situation where he got in the LA Fitness where he got jumped or whatever. But I'm not sure if you guys saw his new music video after the whole incident happened. That to me I found extremely interesting. He's using this moment as a tool to rebrand. And it's funny to me because when you think about it, usually 6ix9ine would have come out with the opposite energy, but he literally is trying to turn this into a positive thing. And it made me feel that, especially after seeing the video, that maybe there's a high possibility that this could have all been staged. Now that I'm thinking about it, because of the simple situation, he has parts of the attack within his music video. So it's a very deceitful thing. I want to say thank you to Moses, Moses Wiseman. I appreciate the $50 super chat. Thank you so much. I'm pretty sure you guys noticed that as well. I saw a clip of academics speaking about 6ix9ine's comeback, and he was hyping him up, telling him how 6ix9ine was a genius, a marketing genius. He was so great. No, it's not that great. It's very actually it looks kind of staged now. Now that I'm thinking about it, just look at the music video. 6ix9ine wants to be looked at as sentimental now, as a victim now, as someone that people feel bad for. So what would be the perfect way? Have this story that he got jumped and beat up, and now there's literally footage of him in the hospital, part of his music video. So you're telling me his cameraman showed up to the hospital and started filming him in the hospital to put it in his music video? Do you think is that making sense to you guys? You're telling me if the first thing when happens to you in the hospital after you get jumped is you call your cameraman to come film your music video. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It it clearly appears that 6ix9ine scripted this whole situation. It was a whole stage situation. Maybe he really asked them to attack him. Maybe that's what made it seem so real. But nah, it seems like a fake story. What do you guys think? Do you think it's fake, or do you think that it was a real attack? Especially like it seems so fake when we think about the fact that why is it in his music video? That'll be the last thing on my mind. And now that we're seeing him trying to come out with this new image, this he's gonna rebrand himself, it's obvious this is another stunt. Like the same thing that we saw with Trippie Redd and 6ix9ine. That beef was fake. I hope people know this. Trippie Redd and 6ix9ine were signed to the same exact record label. The record label is not going to allow these two guys to beef. It's not going to happen. They were beefing because it sold records, and it was a controlled beef where, yeah, he got a little, action going on, but it was to make it look real. It wasn't a real situation. You understand? And this is exactly what I think this was. If they had to make it look real, which they did, it looked real, but let's be completely honest. Let's be completely honest here. If this was a real attack, it would not be a part of no music video. He would have not have called no cameraman. This would have been too last moment. Why would a cameraman be anywhere near the situation? It says that, the guys got arrested, but I don't know. It's not making any sense to me. If the guys got arrested, whatever, at most they'll probably get a month or whatever or so, and they probably sit it out, or even they'll probably get those charges dropped. Something, you understand? Or according to saying that 6ix9ine is not gonna press charges or is not doing anything. Sorry, he's supposedly gonna sue the gym instead. That's what academics said. But in my opinion, it's not making any sense to me. It doesn't. At first, I felt that it could have been 1000% real, and that I actually felt bad for 6ix9ine because I was like, I don't want anyone having to deal with anything like this. I don't want no harm coming to any person. So at first, I really thought that it was a real situation. But after the music video, I'm not buying it. And especially the fact that he's trying to portray himself, as this new character. This is what he wanted, and it works perfectly. Drew's Box Slip Show, thank you for the $2 donation. She says, can you also do one on pastors as well, if TD Jakes? Yeah, I can definitely do that. There's been a lot of pastors who've taken advantage in the past. I can definitely, sorry. I can definitely make that happen. But like I was saying, the 6ix9ine situation just seems like another method of manipulation, and that's what I don't want to happen. I don't want people manipulated by 6ix9ine to thinking that 6ix9ine really, is this new guy and he's all this. Yeah, he's giving money out in the video, and yes, that's his new thing. But you have to remember, even the Masons use charity because it makes them look good. It confuses people, and people would be like, "Oh no, he gives money away. He has to be a good person." But let's be honest, that doesn't mean that you're a good person. You can use it as a tax write-off. You can give money away and buy good publicity. That's literally what it is. You're buying good publicity. It's interesting to see that he would put it in a music video. It'll be a whole rollout. The next day he's in what was it, Puerto Rico? It was Cuba, right? The next day he's in Cuba. A few days later he's in Cuba. It's very, very coincidental. Let's leave it at that. Now I actually want to start getting into some questions and topics like we do every Sunday. I want you guys to let me know what you guys are thinking, what you guys want me to cover. What do you think we should be talking about next live stream, or even what do you think I should get into now? I'm gonna be here for the next 20 minutes answering your questions. And see, somebody said logic. I think yeah, we might have to cover logic soon. Osuna is I believe Osuna is definitely another one of the Masonic puppets in the Latin industry. Someone said, what happened to the John Morant video? Nothing happened to it. It was not a video, it was another live stream. And it's a part of one of the live streams. I think it's the Doja Cat live stream. It's within like the 40 or the 50-minute mark. You can definitely find it there. Or you can just go to the second channel. I clipped the part of the live stream and made it a edited version. So you can just see it on there as well. So it was never a video, it was a live stream. Thank you, Epic A Heck, for the $20 donation. I appreciate it. He said, I heard some Christian artists have been sellouts. If a Christian artist is signed to a major label, can that be a red flag of them being a possible sellout? That's a good question. It could definitely set the tone, because why would the label or the industry want anything to do or prop up anything that's going against their agenda? So I see exactly what you're saying. I feel that that's a good way to look at it. If a major label is behind it, there's got to be a reason. I would look into some artists though. Maybe I can make like a video where I'll put a few artists in there that I feel are using their faith and using religion to profit. I can definitely do that if you guys are interested. I want to say thank you to Juicebox Slip Show for the $5 donation. I think a video breakdown on the Divine Nine would be really interesting. We can definitely look into it. Let me write that down. You guys haven't noticed D is not around today because she is not feeling too well. So, gotta write this myself. 1 second. Divine Nine. All right. Any more questions? Expose religious fakes. Of course, I think that's a good thing to do. It. The religion as a whole, we have to. I feel like a video on that, because I believe religion is the monetization of God's words. I've always said this. I've said this for a long time. I believe religion monetizes God's word. You know, we do not necessarily need religion for God's word, because God's word is already in this book. We know everything we need to know from God. Now, do I disagree with a church? I don't disagree with a place where people come together and worship together. Where I disagree is when it becomes something for profit, or when it becomes a system where there's one man trying to convince an entire crowd. When, remember, we're all the same. There's not a single person that knows more about God than the other. We might study more than others, but I believe God and our spiritual relationship is something personal, something that it's individualized for each person. So I don't think that a pastor or a priest or whoever's leading the service is going to be in front being able to determine what the God's word is for each individual person. I think that that has to be a personal relationship, and that's why in the Bible it says the church is within us. You know, not the church is a building that we have to all go to, but it's within us. You know, so I feel that religion, definitely there's corruption within religion, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you would agree. We have seen it throughout history, but in the Word of God, there is no corruption, and thankfully, you can read the Word of God from home. You could learn the Word of God easily. You don't actually necessarily need to go to a church, but if you have a good church that you go to, that's also great. It's great to go to church that you feel is a positive church, not something that is a money grab or something that's a situation that isn't really offering anything positive for you. For those that are joining now, right now we're answering questions and we're talking about, whatever you guys ask me for the next few minutes, but if you want to listen to the starting topic, you have to rewind it to the beginning. That's where we spoke about the Cash App situation and other topics. Now we're just answering questions and going through your guys' thoughts. Someone said do a video on Saturn. Yep, I will definitely do a video on Saturn. I'm gonna wait for Christmas though for that. I know that's a long time from now, but Saturn and Christmas, Saturnalia, it's all connected. So I definitely you can expect that around Christmas. Wilson. Wilson says, do a video of Central C, please. I actually said that last time we were here. Central C is it's a good idea. Let's talk about Webby Rand. My guy Showing Alliance. What's up, Showing Alliance? How you doing, brother? I do not know who Webby Rand is. I'm gonna have to look into that one. We can probably do a Discord event later, Showing Alliance, and get in there and talk with our whoever's on Discord. Uh Moses Wiseman. Thank you for the $100 super chat. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. KJ, the King James version is preserved word of God in English. Perverse. Sorry, I read that wrong. You're correct. I've already said this in the past. If you're going to read a Bible, avoid the King James Bible. This is something good that we can get into now. Thank you for actually mentioning this. The King James Bible was not written by a Freemason, but it was translated by the Freemason King James. So like I said before, you can look this up as a simple Google search will give you all your answers. There's a reason why you could only find King James Bibles everywhere. You go to Walmart, all you're going to see is King James Bibles in the book section. You go to any library, maybe you can find it at some libraries, but it's pretty difficult. You go to any Target store, any big store, all you're going to see is King James version of the Bible. And guess what? They have altered and changed parts of the Bible. So you cannot trust the King James Bible. You cannot trust the King James Bible. You have to either look online to get, pages. You can find digital pages that people print of the original ones. That's the best option, if you can afford to buy the hardcover one, because it's pretty expensive. It's like in the thousands of dollars to find an original Bible. Well, closer to the original one that hasn't been too altered. And it's important to know that they've changed certain things to be able to manipulate us. So don't get me wrong. The Bible contains a lot of knowledge about God, of course, but they change certain scriptures to be able to suit their manipulation. I can make a whole video about this, guys, if you want that. If that's what you guys want, I have no trouble making this video. I know that it's a topic that requires in-depth. It's not something that I can just say because I'm pretty sure many of you have a King James Bible because you didn't know this. So I'm not judging you, and there's nothing wrong with you. You did nothing wrong. The evil ones are the ones that took the word out. The evil ones are the ones that convinced you to buy this Bible and lied to you, acting like it was the full word of God. So, I'm not trying to make anybody feel bad or judge anybody. So please, if you own a King James Bible or you use a King James Bible, it's okay. It happens. There's a lot of stuff that we just didn't know. You can definitely look up You can definitely do research on your own and you can find it. But if you guys want me to make a full video, I can definitely make a full video. Rachel Cypress curious. She said, "Curious, what religion would you follow?" I am essentially a Christian. I'm a Christian because I follow Christ. I just don't see it as a religious matter. Like I wouldn't say that I follow the religion of Christianity. I follow Christ. So technically I'm a Christian because I follow Christ. Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior, and he's who I follow. He is the path to salvation. Now, that's where the misconception of it. Before Christianity didn't exist, we were still following Christ. So that would just make you a follower of Christ, which technically means you're a Christian. So, yes, I'm technically a Christian. 10 Talents Trading said King James Version is right, other versions are correct. This is actually misinformation. I'm sorry, 10 Tablets Trading. That's not true. You can easily look it up. There's verses missing from the King James Bible. It was removed by King James. He was a Freemason. And there's actually a lot of more information about him that it's very interesting. So, like I said, if you guys want me to make a full video on it, I can 1000% make a full video on it. I have no problem with that. Someone said that all versions are incorrect. Like I said, there's still versions that you can get. There's still the closest thing to the original Bible that you can find, but it's $5,000. That's literally the only problem. They have them for sale online, and it's a huge book, contains a lot more in it than what a regular Bible contains nowadays. I can try to get some links. I don't know if that one got sold. It was only literally one Bible that they had that I found on that side, and I was gonna buy it, but the $5,000 is $5,000. I usually just go online and try to find. There's some people that they'll print page by page and they'll put it up. It's not as the same as having the actual Bible. So I definitely recommend if I can eventually get my own, I would show it. Do a whole video breaking it down, and definitely showing it to you guys so as you can see the difference. Any other questions? Any other suggestions? Anything else you guys want me to talk about for the we're gonna be here for another like 15 minutes. Any any anybody here? Any other questions? I'm seeing a lot of video suggestions. Oh yeah, Epic A Heck. Thanks for the $2 super chat. Andrew Tate is in an episode of South Park. I've been seeing that online. I used to actually watch South Park when I was a kid, when I wasn't supposed to. When your mom doesn't know what it is, she thinks it's a cartoon. That's interesting that they got him in there, but that that whole Andrew Tate situation is very interesting, and I recently just covered it. If you guys want to check it out, you guys can definitely check it out. Christian Aris, I think it is. Hey Truth, thank you for all the content. It's very refreshing. I appreciate it. Thank you for watching and for supporting. Skiland TV, Kodak made an episode of Family Guy. I did not see that. Thank you again, Moses Wiseman, for the $20. I appreciate it so much. I'll donate 500 to get the chance to talk some Bible history with you at some point. You don't have to donate anything for that. You can just meet us over at Discord and we can definitely talk about that. Just join the Discord. If you said that if you could get on the Discord, then we can definitely chat. You don't have to donate anything. I appreciate everything you've already donated. Send me an email with your Discord name and we can definitely add you into an event and we can talk about Bible history. Any other questions? Anything else before we go? We're here for a little bit more. You're familiar with Epic A Heck. You familiar with Earth, Wind, and Fire? Lots of Masonic and Saturn imagery on their album covers. Very interesting. Obviously, yes, I've heard of the name Earth, Wind, and Fire, but I do not know. I'm not very knowledgeable on them or their imagery, but I'll definitely write this down and I can definitely look into it. Christian asks, what was the site? I don't remember the site where the Bible was $5,000 at. It was a while back. I probably showed it on one of my previous videos. I don't remember what video it was. I'm sorry. We're at like 360 something videos at this point. But I'm definitely gonna do research and I'll make a whole video on it. Or at least I'll have all this information ready for you guys in the next live stream. I'm looking through any other things before we go. I really appreciate all the donations and I appreciate all of you that are just here supporting. I actually really love having this conversation with you guys, and I love the fact that we can all come together on Sundays and, get into these topics. Can you Chance the Rapper? Historian, what's up, Historian? One of the mods over there on Discord. He's asking for the WWE part 2. I'm actually waiting on Rico, the one that was a part of the last one. He watched the entire WrestleMania event and he told me that he has a ton of information for this upcoming video. And we're actually working on the script now. So we'll have the script and everything written and everything ready. So you guys can expect that video very, very soon for those that are wanting the WWE video. KP, thank you for the $5 super chat. He said, what do you think of spirituality? What do you mean by this question? Like, do I like the spirituality movement? What do they call it? I forgot the name. The New Age movement. The New Age movement. Is that what you're talking about? I'm looking for your response, KP. Because if you're talking about New Age, I feel New Age is obviously occultic, practices that's been converted to look like a religion, but it's just really the occult. I see Little B here said King Vaughn. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna make a video on King Vaughn soon. You guys can definitely expect that maybe in the next coming week or so, maybe even next week. Showing the Lines said expose Bobby Brown. Definitely Showing the Lines. I've seen some interesting information on Bobby Brown. I'm gonna definitely get into it. Expose EAW. Rico's actually telling me to do the same thing. He says that we should definitely do an AEW video alongside of the WWE video. Kamari Crystal, if I said that correctly, I believe. She says expose schools. I would definitely expose schools. Maybe we can talk about that on Discord though, because I don't want to get the channel targeted and then we lose our community. Epic A Heck, once again, thank you for the $20 donation. What do the people in your personal life think about your videos? Do they agree or disagree with the stuff you say? Well, Taco's my brother. He's a part of the Truth team. And then my mom, she agrees with me 1000%. At first, she always tells me that she didn't know any of this until I started telling her and showing her the videos. It was really the videos that was easier to open her eyes, because I would tell her before and she would kind of just look at me like most people look at other people when you try to explain this to them. It doesn't really make sense. But when you're showing them the imagery, it's hard for them to disagree. But most people in my family agree with me and the rest just don't really understand. So they don't like disagree with me, but they just simply don't understand. But like my mother, my brothers, my wife, even my son, and he's young, I try to explain it to him. So everybody on my side definitely knows the truth. Thank God. Oh, KP said, no, I was just asking, are you a spiritual person? Is all. Thank you for the $5 donation again. You didn't have to donate again. You could have just asked the question, but I appreciate it. Um, of course, I'm a spiritual person. That's how you believe in Christ. It's a spiritual relationship with Christ and God. So I'm 1000% very spiritual. And I'm pretty sure most people on this channel are spiritual. We have a spiritual connection with the Father for sure. This person asks, who is Taco? Taco is my older brother. That's basically all we can say. We like to keep ourselves anonymous here. Schools would be a good one. Epic 8 Hex says schools would be a good one. I agree. Coil Ray, I wouldn't make a full video, but I can add her into the next stream if you guys want. I've been seeing a lot of stuff from her. She was also at Doja Cat's party. KX said, "Hey, Truth, did you ever research that Mr. Beast character?" I looked into a few things. I'm still on the bench with him because I'm trying to see. Like, I saw the whole Elon Musk thing, and that definitely caught my attention. So I might have to make a full video on Mr. Beast. Juicebox Slip Slow, thank you again for the $2 super chat. The Antokumopu brothers. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm so sorry. NBA players. You want me to look into it? Is this what you're requesting? Let me write this down. Sorry about that. All right. Any other questions before we go? We're almost done. We might get on Discord in a bit. For those that are on Discord, mods, can you spam the Discord, please? It's the pinned comment at the top if you don't see it, but I'll have Taco comment it again. We have to talk about Webby, not Webby. Okay. Boosie's friend. I got you, Sean Alliance. This is a good question to Joey. Do you think one hit wonders are people who didn't take the oath? That was a great question. I honestly think that that's one of the possible reasons, for sure, for sure. I believe that these are artists like if we see like if you don't take the oath, you're obviously not gonna make it. And there's some artists that they'll have this big hit song that just happens to get attention, just happens to start to blow up. The label would usually approach them. And if they choose to go independent or if they choose not to sign, then you understand why. You understand? Then I see that the label stops supporting them. They don't show them no love. You don't see them at the big events, and you see them you start to see them fall off. You start to see them start to get forgotten. So that was definitely 1000% a great question. And I like people that ask questions like this because these are questions that are engaging. I wasn't even thinking about that. And now that you said that, it makes perfect sense. Darrell Turner said, "You're right. It's a relationship someone can have with the Most High, and it's a personal relationship, correct? Not a competitive sport of who knows more or whatever." That is 100% true. That's a good way to look at it. This person said, "Do a video on Chance the Rapper, Josiah." I think Chance the Rapper is a good example of one of those rappers that claims to be Christian and is pushing a positive message, but I don't necessarily agree. So I'd have to. I think a video on Chance the Rapper would be good. If you guys want to see that, let me know below. Showing Alliance. He said, "Can you consider Trinidad James a one-hit wonder that didn't sell his soul?" I don't think so. I seen Trinidad James in the industry still. I just feel like he got lucky. He got one song. That one song was really what he had to offer. But then he still probably took the oath because he's all over the industry. Well, he's not like a big face in the industry, but he's still employed by them. And I saw a lot of imagery coming from him altogether. Sunset Overdrive, he's a mod over on the Discord. He says that Chance hangs out with other sellouts. So yeah, very true. He does. He was with Kanye West. Kevin Crotus said, "Can I do a video on Daddy Yankee?" I think I can. I think I might do it for the second channel though. Empire Clan said, "Does he read YouTube chat?" Yes, that's what I'm currently doing right now. I'm reading the YouTube chat. So yeah. Can you do a video? Can you do a video on Saturday Night Live? Yes, that's good. And whoever's asking to join the Discord, all you have to do is click the link that's pinned on the top, or all you do is create a free account and join, and then you can compensate. Then you can talk with the other truth members that are on there, and there's a lot of truth seekers on there. We'll probably have a live event later today too. So if you join today, will be a good day. Juicebox Slip Show, thank you. Sip Slow, thank you again for the $5 super chat. The Antu Couple movie on Disney Plus. Quick rise to fame. All brothers are currently in the NBA. Milwaukee Bucks. Okay, I'm definitely gonna look into that. Especially you mentioned Disney. Disney. Whenever I see Disney, I see that as a concerning situation. And I just want you to let you know that D came flying over here to bring that one to my attention. She wanted to make sure I saw that. I guess I went over it. I'm sorry. Someone said destroy lonely, and Hitman Dirt. That's a good one too. I haven't heard his music. I don't really know who he is, but it's interesting that people are starting to talk about him because I saw him the other day. I saw his on Instagram. It popped up. So it's definitely interesting. I can definitely look into him. He was doing, he was already showing imagery in that Instagram post. So it'll be definitely interesting to look into. Kenneth Rouse said, "Happy Resurrection Sunday." You might be a little bit late. I spoke about Easter a few minutes behind. You might want to rewind it to the Easter part so that you can get a breakdown on what Easter truly is. All right. Locust Cruz said, "Please do a video on the King James Version Bible to clarify." I got you. I'm 100% going to make that happen. But that's it, guys. We're going to end it right here today. I appreciate each and every one of you guys for showing up. I love you all. Take care. Stay blessed. And I'll see you guys in the next one.